At the risk of sounding like I've completely lost my mind, I want to show you guys what I found. The other day I was leaving a friend's house, and where her sidewalk ends and the gravel to her driveway begins, there were some dead weeds there that had grown up over the summer, and they were just dried up and dead now. And one of them caught my eye, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would make a perfect addition to my book cover. I want a lot of texture on the cover. So here's what I found. Ta-da! It's a weed. I don't know what kind of weed it is, but doesn't that look like tree branches? I could not believe I was just looking on the ground and this is what I found. So I decided I was going to try it out. I found this big one, and then I also found a smaller one next to it. So what I decided to do is take the smaller one and do my experimenting with it. And here is the first thing that I did. I don't know how well you can see that. If I turn it this way though, so I used just the Elmer's glue, and I glued the weed down as best I could to the paper. And this is just some of that dark cardstock. I'm sorry, I know that crunchy sound is really loud. So I glued the weed down onto the paper. I cleaned it, I washed it, and I let it dry. And I laid it down on the cardstock, and it was not going to stay flat to it. So I thought, well, I'll just put a piece of parchment paper over it. And I was hoping the parchment paper wouldn't necessarily stick to it, and I can pull that up. I'll just show you since this is just the experiment. I can pull this up, and you can see the weed underneath there, but it's still, I think that would lift off pretty easy. So I think I'm better off leaving the parchment paper on there. This is an unbleached parchment paper, so it's kind of got well, kind of a natural color to it. And I like the way this turned out, but I was thinking, okay, so if I put this on my cover, it's gonna fall kind of flat because I want more texture than this. So my next experiment is going to be laying down some cheesecloth. I've seen a lot of people use cheesecloth on their book covers. So I'm going to lay down some of this cheesecloth, let it crinkle up, let that dry, and then put my weed on top of it. And I may or may not use the parchment paper on top of that. Probably not, because well, I'll try it either way. And I will let you guys know the results. Okay, so this is going to be part one, I guess, of my weed experiment. And this is what I had already tried before. I showed y'all the weed that I put underneath the parchment paper. And it turned out okay, but I do want more texture. So my next thought is, I have worked a little bit with this the cheesecloth, and I've cut it in these strips, and I'm going to take these and kind of bunch them across the paper and let these dry. Now I've never tried this before, but I think it's gonna work. I mean, I've used cheesecloth a little. So anyway, I have over here, I've got a little bowl of water that I'm going to kind of dilute the glue with, but I'm gonna okay, here's the experimenting part. I'm just gonna pour some glue on here. Whoa! And then I'm going to dip my brush in the water and kind of use that to dilute down the glue and spread it on here, and then we're just going to start putting the cheesecloth on. So my thought is, what I want to do is have this cheesecloth down on the book cover and then add the weeds on top of it. So I'm just gonna dab this. If anybody knows a better way of doing this, please do not hesitate to give me an idea in the comments, because I am all for helping each other and I need help because I'm not sure at all how this is gonna work out. So all right, let's just move on. I can tell I need a little more up here. So we're gonna put that down. I like the way that cheesecloth looks when it's in the background of a project. And since I definitely want my fairy junk journal cover to have all kinds of texture, this was my best option. And my hope is it's going to look a little like, I don't know, like the background of a forest. The foliage and the dirt and rocks and stuff like that. Oops, sorry. I hit the light there. I want it to look kind of twisted a little. You know, not just laid down flat, of course. So we're just gonna keep doing this. And actually, I think I have now more glue, or more water than glue, so I may just go over this. I think that's a big enough area for my experiment. Add a little more glue on top of here. Okay. That's probably going to take a while to dry. So I'm just going to leave it alone, and I will come back at the next part of it. Okay, so I've let the cheesecloth dry a little bit. I've used my heat gun on it some. And now I'm going to start using my weed. And I think I'm going to, let me see. I'm gonna start tearing a few pieces off and laying them down. See, that side I think will be able to lay flatter. So I'm kind of to the point I'm not sure where to go with this, because I've never messed with it before. Let me get my scissors. I think I'm just going to lay it down, and then I'm going to, I'm considering either laying over the top of it another layer of thin cheesecloth, or possibly some tissue paper. I want to be able to help the weed lay flat on here, but I still want it to show. And all of these little hairy pieces, I don't know if, there you go, the little hairy pieces like that, I kind of want to keep those on here, but I know that they can't be poking up. So I'm just going to kind of smash them down with my fingers. And then I guess I will do, I will lay a thin layer of cheesecloth over half of it, and then the other half I will lay down tissue and see which one turns out the best. I don't have any tissue out. I'm going to have to go get that. So I will stop the camera real quick in just a minute and go get it. But I want to make sure I have enough of the weed laid down. The weed, it sounds like, well, anyway. There we go. And then even these pieces, I kind of want to use these in here too, because I think it'll just sort of add to the texture and the look. I just don't want this big hunk on there. So we're just going to spread out those smaller pieces of weeds. All right. Okay. Now I am going to get my tissue and I'll be right back. So here are my results, and I'm not happy at all. They are, it's hard as a rock, so that's not going to work for the cover of a journal. The portion of it where I put the tissue over, the tissue just dissolved away completely, and it left, let's see, try to get it where you can see it. It left all of these pieces stuck out here and there, and that's not going to work on the cover of a journal. The layer where I put a single layer of cheesecloth over the top of it, that also isn't going to work. It doesn't even look like a tree branch anymore. So this was a bust. The next thing I'm going to try is to use some paint and maybe paint the cheesecloth. I want it to have like a stiff consistency, not this stiff. I want it to be stiff enough where when I bunch it up and I put it on the journal cover, maybe I can take my weeds and just lay it across it and have it kind of moving in and out of the cheesecloth. So I will get back to you and let you know what those results show. Okay, so I'm at my kitchen table now, so the lighting is not very good. I've got my cheesecloth and I've opened it up to where it's 1 ply. And I'm gonna put it out on here. And then I have 4 different colors of this apple barrel paint. I've got a Kelly green, English ivy green. This one is kind of a metallic green. And then I have Sunny Day, which is a yellow. So I have this test piece of cheesecloth, and I'm just gonna mess around and see about coloring this, and then I'm gonna work on how I'm gonna get it on the cover of the book. So I'm gonna spray some water down. I've got a plastic trash bag underneath this so that it will kind of hold the water or hold the paint. And I don't know how to do this, so I am just gonna kind of do like that. So this is what I have, and I'm going to get some paper towels and put it out on the paper towels. Well, actually, you know what? I might as well, while I have all this paint out. I've got another small piece here. So I might as well just put it in there. Try this technique of just wadding it up and then seeing what it comes out like. Okay. I probably should have had a glove on both hands, but didn't think about it. Okay. That's not bad. I know what I would have to do. I would have to get enough of the cheesecloth to cover the journal and then work on it all at once, because I think that like this, the colors might not match up as well, you know, from one batch to the next. So, okay, I'm gonna go get paper towels to dry this on, and I'll be right back. Here is what they look like after they have dried, and I am so happy with this. When you crumble it like this, see, it kind of holds its shape, which is what I wanted, so that I can, here, I've got a branch here, so that I can lay my branches across the top of it like that. So I'm real happy with this. I like the color. I even like the edges that didn't completely unroll, or they're still rolled up, I guess is what I'm trying to say. These edges, I like that. And I've got several good size pieces that I'm going to be able to use to make that journal. So then after I did that, I decided, and this was just the acrylic paints you just saw. After I did that, I decided I was going to take, where is it, my Lindy's sprays. These are Starburst sprays, so they have a little bit of a shimmer to them, and go over some cheesecloth with those. And this is what that looks like. And I hope that the camera is really picking up these colors, because I just love this. I think it is so pretty, and I think it's very fairy-like, you know? So I'm definitely going to be able to use this. Okay, so this is the last of this section. I've gathered all I'm going to gather, and I'm going to start working on my pages. So I'll catch you on the next one.